This is Charter California Edition. My name is Brad Pomerantz, and we are joined today by Penny Fraumeni. She is the Vice President of the Hacienda La Puente School Board. She spent several years as a principal at several schools throughout that district. And we are at the time where so many students who are seniors are thinking about college and where they should accept and where they should wait to see if they get off the wait list. Talk to us about that time. You know it well.
Oh, I know it well. I have been involved with many of our seniors in the last year in the admission process,
Correct.
Trying to pick the school they think they can get into. And even the best and the brightest have not had a lot of choices because they know how difficult right now it is to get into the major universities.
It is stunning on so many levels. I know you have a relative.
Yes.
Who has gone to one of the region's premier parochial schools.
Right.
And his credentials were second to none.
Absolutely.
4.6?
Yeah, this is my nephew Austin, who went to...
I wasn't going to say his name. If you want to, it's all
I
good.
got to say his name because he's probably going to listen to this.
Exactly.
But Austin was over a 4.0, went to a very prestigious private religious school over in Whittier.
Right.
He is the captain of the football team, ASB president, just got his Eagle Scout this year.
So he's
Did
got it all.
AP classes, the whole, everything, community service, you name it. He wanted to go, his number one choice was USC. His number two choice, UCLA. But his parents and I convinced him, you apply to everything. You find what you want, Austin, and apply to it because you're a great kid and people are going to be running over themselves trying to get you into their schools.
Was he admitted at USC or UCLA?
Well, he gets his letters. They started coming about 2 months ago. First letter, Chapman, admitted scholarships. Whittier College, admitted scholarships. Redlands in. UCSB in. UC San Diego in. Pepperdine in. He finally got his letter from USC. Sorry, you're not in, and you're not on a waiting list either.
UCLA.
The next day, UCLA. Sorry, you're not in. You're not even on a waiting list.
Let's talk about those two schools. UCLA, we have learned this year, received the most applications of any university in the world.
Yes.
In the world.
I heard
Not
the
in the
same
nation,
thing, right?
In the world. 112,000 applicants. Of those, 15% were admitted. And that's actually just 15% of the nation. So part of that 112 was international applicants. So of the domestic applicants, not California, 15% admitted. USC, which has really come up. It's undeniable.
Absolutely.
17% admission.
Yes.
It is just remarkable how competitive it has become to get into these schools. Why?
I can't figure it out. But I do know that the major universities that have their reputation, they have the sports, they have the spirit, this is where all our kids want to go.
Right.
They want to go and experience the entire college university experience. And for Austin, that's what he wanted. He said, Aunt Penny, I want a school with spirit. I want a school that's high academic that I'm going to learn from, but I'll have the whole experience.
Will you tell us where Austin's going?
He's going to go to Chapman.
Which was a school not on my radar when I was applying, and now has just become
very
prestigious hot school in Orange, California, a wonderful neighborhood. Let's talk more about some of the other UC admission rates. UC San Diego, 30%. UC Santa Barbara, 37%. UC Santa Cruz, 54%. I mean, those three schools, those were the schools that the kids who, you know, were smoking behind the bathroom were going to.
The drinkers were going to Santa Barbara.
It is unbelievable how competitive it is.
It's extremely competitive. And what's sad is our kids have worked really hard. Our seniors in our high schools in Hacienda La Puente, they have worked so hard. And these are disadvantaged kids, many of them, that have overcome every odd to get to this point.
But what's interesting about Hacienda La Puente is you're just a tale of two cities.
We are the tale of two cities.
Hacienda Heights side, everyone's doing just fine.
That's right.
With a lot of tiger moms, if I can use that cliche.
Absolutely.
On the La Puente side, not as much.
Yeah. Yeah,
Not as
and
much.
our La Puente kids are disadvantaged.
Uh-huh.
They're not disadvantaged in the way that I'm going to tell you. They're disadvantaged economically,
Right.
but spirit-wise, they've
course
got
not.
it.
Yeah.
Because that's where my schools were.
Right.
I love those parents. I love those kids because they wanted to come to school, and the ones that did well were overcoming every odd in the book to do it right and get it done. And the parents were right behind us all the way because they didn't have an education. Many of them were immigrants, especially from Mexico, and they wanted better for their kids.
I want to talk about the college graduates because I understand you have had the opportunity to interview candidates
Oh, yes.
who are looking to be teachers, which is such an admirable profession. And you have taken something away from
Yes.
those interviews, which shocking beyond all compare. Tell us about the recent applicant who wowed you with her words, but scared you with her presentation.
Absolutely. I've been interviewing for different positions at a high school,
Right.
a local high school.
Perfect.
And this gal walked in. She was actually recommended to me by a friend.
Got it.
So already she had the top spot in my mind. She comes in an outfit that's way too tight, way too low cut,
More revealing than it should be.
and nail polish that was all chipped off and bright orange. Now, her interview was stellar, but and there was two of us interviewed, couldn't get beyond the professional or unprofessional look. And after it was all over, and we had a stack of applicants this
Sure.
high for this one position, I actually talked to her.
Really?
And I said, listen, if you will do that, you're not going to make it to our final interview. And she didn't. But what I told her was, if you want to be a professional, you need to present yourself professionally. And what you're saying is terrific, but your look was just not there. So wear clothing that fits you right. I said, go down and buy yourself a cheap
Right.
suit
It doesn't
and a nice
have to be
blouse.
expensive.
No. And take the nail polish off. Just
If you don't have
just
time
look
for a
good.
manicure, it's okay.
Right.
Just take it off.
And just normal makeup and get the hair out of your face, out of your eyes, behind your ears, and look professional.
I have to think that she was probably disappointed, but when she got home, she was thankful.
She said thank you to me.
Yeah, and
She
I
actually
believe that
said thank
because
you.
I'm sure you said it with
Yes,
the
I
infectious
said it with
energy.
a smile, and I said, listen, it's not going to happen here, but you will get a job. She's very skilled.
Right.
You just need to just do this one thing. And when you're competing against 100 or 200 kids
Right.
for one
Exactly,
teaching job,
right.
and that's what it's like right now in the Southland, there just aren't that many jobs out there.
Even with the economy improving,
Oh, no.
even with more funding
No,
to schools.
because we're in declining enrollment. That even though this is happening in our area,
Even in some
this
of-
area, oh
yeah.
yes, we're
Really?
still in declining enrollment. Hacienda La Puente declining 150 to 200 kids a year.
Really?
Because the population's older. We're not moving. I'm not moving from my
right,
house.
right.
And my grandkids aren't living
right,
with me.
right.
Okay. There's no new housing in our area. We're very impacted. So there's
see.
no new families coming in. Where the growth is out in Adelanto, Victorville.
Of course.
Corona, Norco, where people can afford housing,
course.
and where there's an increase in population.
What
and
else
kids.
did you take away from being the interviewer, not the interviewee? What else did you see from our 20-somethings?
Well, our 20-somethings are very interesting.
Yeah.
They not sure what they want to do when they get into the classroom. They're well skilled. Trust me on this. They've taken all the high-level
Right.
classes, but the practical application of teaching children, teaching little kids or big kids, doesn't make any
Right.
difference, is not in their vocabulary right now. I don't think they have the best work ethic, if you want to know the
I'm
truth.
wondering, is that because of the way they were raised?
Yeah.
Is that because of the Mimi culture of the last decade? Is
Right.
it because there were no skills provided in college? I mean, at some level, you want to teach these kids how to be outstanding members of a working profession.
Right. I don't think they realize, even though they've got their teacher education and they have their preliminary credentials, I don't believe they realize the amount of work it takes to be a teacher. And we're talking before school, after school. What are you going to do with the kids that are struggling? You're going to work twice as hard
Penny
normally.
Fraumeni, you're terrific. Hacienda La Puente is lucky to have you. She is the vice president of that school board.
Thank you.
I'm Brad Pomerantz. It's Charter California Edition.